Genetic engineering, artificial organs, prosthesis. There are so many ways in which we can alter and improve the human body in this day and age. The broad knowledge we have and the technology we can use today is truly astounding, but how far should we go? In this video we will be analysing the uses and practices of artificial organs, prosthetic limbs and genetic engineering and the ethical issues that arise with them. Genetic engineering is defined as the direct manipulation of an organism's genome using biotechnology. It is usually used to produce an organism with a desired trait for medical or commercial purposes. The first GM-modified organisms were E. coli bacteria in 1973, where new genes were inserted and they were seen to reproduce successfully. This was soon followed by GM mice in 1974. Genetic engineering can be used in many ways to improve human life. It can be used to produce hormones for those who can't produce them naturally. For example, human growth hormone to aid in growth, follicism to aid in treating infertility, and insulin to treat in type 1 diabetes. Genetic therapy is genetic engineering of humans by replacing faulty genes with functioning copies, usually to treat a genetic condition. It can be used for treatment of diseases like Parkinson's and chronic lymphocytic leukemia. Treatment can also be used to change people's appearance, intelligence or character. If these genes are inserted into the zygote tissue just after fertilization, it can be passed down into an organism's offspring. First, you identify a quality that you want and the gene that affects it. The DNA containing this gene is removed from the organisms using specific enzymes and copied through molecular cloning methods. The new copy of this gene is delivered to the recipient organisms. However, this is unlikely to be successful and can take hundreds of attempts to get a few transgenic organisms.
Artificial organs are seen by some as a necessity due to an ageing population. Artificial organs have been made using man-made materials, but recently they have been made from tissue of existing organs or stem cells. For instance, the first artificial lab-grown organ was grown from a small section of bladder in 2006. One obvious benefit of using artificial organs is that they can be made to replace an existing, failing organ, allowing the patient to live a normal life. Another advantage is that the chances of organ rejection can be greatly reduced, especially if they are made using the patient's own stem cells. With long waiting times for replacement suitable organs and a low amount of donors, an artificial alternative could be made to order, reducing waiting times. The idea of making organs to order has advanced recently with the technology of 3D printing, which allows cells to be built up layer by layer into a 3D structure. This technique has already been used to implant a small portion of a heart and blood vessels into mice. Scientists predict they will be able to print a fully functioning heart from a patient's own stem cells within 10 years. However, currently, there are some disadvantages in artificial organs. These include the high risk of disease from the original tissue from the patient, the current high cost of manufacturing organs, and the ethical issues such as the misuse of artificial organs. Overall, even though the idea and advances in technology allow for the manufacture of artificial organs, there are currently many risks and problems which need to be overcome before the artificial organs are available to the general public.
As time goes on, technology advances, as does our ability to design and produce prosthetics. In the past, a missing limb would have been replaced by use of solid wood for an arm. However, now we are able to replace limbs with much lighter, stronger materials such as carbon fibre, as well as use movement analysis techniques in order to create joints that function exactly the same as human joints. This has allowed us not only to improve people's lives following a tragedy or birth defect, but also may lead on to the idea of actually improving the ability of limbs to perform beyond normal human function. For example, an artificial arm that can lift weights much heavier than a normal human arm.
The majority of people that artificially improving the human body is morally wrong, as it goes against the natural process of evolution. Yet there is dispute how to discern between actions that are designed to reduce the risk of illness and death and those that are designed to improve the human system. Vaccines, for example, are currently classified as a procedure designed to prevent disease. However, they could just as easily be described as an immune system enhancement and thereby morally corrupt. Likewise, an intervention that prolongs the lifetime of an average person could be described as an enhancement of lifespan or as a preventative technique that prevents disease and disability. Further questions include how invasive a procedure must be to be classified as an enhancement. If a person was to have poor eyesight, would laser eye surgery be classified as an enhancement? or a treatment. The definition of human enhancement is said to be the use of technological means to select or alter human characteristics, whether or not the alteration results in capabilities that lie beyond the existing human range. Almost all manner of things are classified within this, from glasses for the short-sighted to the use of crutches for mobility, a far cry from the envisaged 17-foot genetically modified monster. As such, it would be irresponsible for humanity to put a blanket ban on almost all human enhancement. More responsibly, a ban on certain modifications would be appropriate. For example, the use of cognitive science to improve the mental abilities of a human. The purpose of this would be to minimise the impact to social equality and the effect on identity that many fear the advancement of human engineering would lead to.